So I was thinking about this latest round of censorship with a manufacturersy against one guy having ramifications on all sorts of YouTubers, myself included. And of course that came soon after the bogus arrest of Julian Assange. I don't want to talk about just any one particular story or person. I just wanted to get my thoughts on this as it's something that's been on my mind for quite some time now. In the first case, you have some people defending freedom of speech, but people on the other side are saying there are limits to free speech, such as things that harass or endanger others. As for the Assange story, the crux seems to be that if he's a journalist, then he has press freedoms and he can't be prosecuted, but if he isn't a journalist, then he can be. Well, the reason why the authors of the First Amendment differentiated between freedom of speech and freedom of press is that press freedoms have always had more protection than speech freedoms. If you're wondering why, just ponder. Can you print fire in a crowded theater? See, I think all of this, including the social media censorship, is more properly considered a violation of press freedoms, not speech freedoms. Our founders considered speech to be the spoken word and press to be the printed word, but the reason for the distinction came with an important difference between speech and press that existed at the founders' time. In 1791, speech was limited to the here and now. You could only speak to those around you, and anyone who wasn't there at the time just missed out on the speech. But the written word was different in two ways: distance and time. Whereas speech could only be heard by those in the immediate vicinity, the written word could be read by people all around the world. And while speech had an immediacy, the printed word could be read for years to come. I mean, we're still reading things written at that time today. Thomas Paine's pamphlet Common Sense had to be published and distributed anonymously because the colonies didn't enjoy press freedoms from the crown. But our founders understood how important it was for that very reason. It helped inspire people in the colonies to declare independence and also helped spur on the French Revolution as well. The British government kept censoring the press by prosecuting anyone who published and distributed unfavorable opinions. The 1776 Virginia Declaration of Rights, which inspired much of the Constitution, said, quote, "The freedom of the press is one of the great bulwarks of liberty and can never be restrained but by despotic governments. The right to circulate information or opinions far and wide was seen as crucial and something that should never be inhibited for any reason." Now, here's the thing. Although YouTube videos like this one are primarily the spoken word, they have the same effect as the printed word did in our founders' day. They have the ability to be seen by people all over the world, and they can be viewed years after they were first uploaded. YouTube videos should more properly fall under freedom of the press than freedom of speech. Every video, every tweet, every Facebook post is an act of a member of the press. There's also one more way they're more like press than speech. People have to actively view the content. People had to make the conscious decision to read Common Sense. That's not the case if you're walking by some doofus on a soapbox screaming at the top of his lungs. People have to choose to watch a video or read a tweet or whatever. Which means that all of these free speech exceptions people are using as excuses to censor YouTubers just should not apply. Limits on free speech are there because of the immediacy of speech. You can whip a crowd up into a riot and go do real harm. You can't really do that with the press. The Supreme Court has ruled over and over again that limits on free speech must only be for protecting against a credible and imminent danger. And even then, the Supreme Court has completely rejected prior restraint as a total violation of freedom of speech. But they've also said that these same limits don't apply to freedom of the press, since the material can be disseminated far and wide and be viewed days or months or years later. There's no way anyone with any credibility can claim that anything on social media can ever constitute both a credible and an imminent danger. Someone who is offended is not in danger. It's also impossible to harass someone with the press. That's something that can really only be done in person. It makes no sense to say that someone can be harassed, which requires that the action be repeated, in a place where the person has to actively read the content and can just block the offender anyway. Simply being offended does not put you in credible or imminent danger. Being called a name does not put you in credible or imminent danger. So-called hate speech does not put anyone in credible or imminent danger. All of the twisted, distorted arguments making it appear that way put the danger several steps removed from the post and have no sense of immediacy at all. What these people are complaining about is people who are printing fire in a crowded theater. Anyone who spends any amount of time actually thinking about it can see how ridiculous that is. All of which brings me to the arguments about Assange, specifically the idea that you can only have freedom of the press if you're a journalist. But journalist isn't supposed to be a privileged class. Everyone has the capacity to act as a journalist. And press isn't a privileged class either, although it's clear that CNN, Vox, and others would like it to be. WikiLeaks is a press. My channel is a press. Your channel or Twitter feed or Facebook page is a press. When we complain about hate speech laws or regulations on social media as publishers, doesn't the name itself imply a press? Or any of the other sorts of censorship so many cry-bully snowflakes are screeching for, we should be doing it on the basis of our right to a free press, not the right to free speech. That would completely turn the entire discussion on its head. So thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, please hit like and subscribe and share this video everywhere you can. If you really want to help support censorship-free monetization of content, come join me over at bittubers.com, where creators and viewers are monetized with cryptocurrency, no ads or any of the censorship that comes with them. Also, please consider going to donate.bogosity.tv to see all the ways you can support this channel, such as donating via PayPal or crypto, becoming a subscriber and getting benefits, or even for free just by using the BitTube extension. And above all, don't ever let people destroy the wonderfully free press that is social media. Until next time, stay strong and be free.